Welcome back to Baking with Love. I'm Carolyn Stella, aka Stella, coming to you from the PEG TV kitchen studio. And today I'd like to share with you my recipe for lemon bars. Lemon trees like to grow in hot and humid climates with temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees. So can you guess which country grows the most lemons? Let's take a look at the top 10. India grows the most lemons in the world, about 3.7 million metric tons per year. Mexico and China are pretty close in second and third. Sometimes they flip-flop. Argentina, Brazil, Turkey, and Spain are the next four countries, and the good old US of A comes in eighth with just under 1 million metric tons per year. South Africa and Iran are numbers 9 and 10. In our country, 2 states make up 95% of all lemons grown. Those states are California and Arizona, with the other 5% coming from from Florida and Texas. Knew it was a T. Speaking of California, the world's largest lemon is a sculpture in Lemon Grove, California. This thing is 3,000 pounds, 10 feet long, and 6 feet across. It was originally built as a parade float in the 1920s, but it was later plastered over and installed in the town square as a tourist attraction. So if you go to Lemon Grove, California, make sure to check out the world's largest lemon. The actual largest lemon was recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records in 2003, and it was grown in Israel. This has stood for 20 years, and I think it's going to be hard to beat. This lemon weighed 11 pounds, 9 ounces. That's heavier than the average human head. And it was 13.7 inches long and 29 inches around, just like my waist. Here's an example. I made these 2 samples to give you an idea of just how big the world's largest lemon really was. I don't know how juicy it was, so I don't know how many lemon bars it would make, but I'm sure more than we're going to make today. Let's get to our recipe. This is a really easy recipe. I'll move our graph. It only has 7 ingredients, including the love. So we're going to start with our food. Oh, before you got here, I prepared our pan, a 9 by 13 inch pan with little parchment paper, and preheated our oven to 325 degrees. We're going to use the food processor for the crust with the dough blade, and you could do this by hand also. And if you wanted to make a half recipe, you could do it in an 8 by 8 or a 9 by 9 square pan. But I don't know why you would want to cut it in half, because these things are so popular, you won't have any trouble having people devour them. So we're going to add 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of confectionery sugar, and of course, a little love, and 6 ounces. There's a little more flour in there. 6 ounces of cold butter cut into chunks. So I left the butter in the fridge so it would be nice and cold. Let me grab that. And I'll add about half and start to pulse, and then I'll add the other half. We want it to get to be a crumbly texture, like pebble-sized crumbs. So that's about half. Did you know a lemon is technically a berry? Yep. With a thick leathery skin. And the little dimples on lemons are actually oil glands. Lemon oil makes a great furniture polish. Lemon trees can produce lemons all year long, so 1 lemon tree can grow up to 600 lemons per year. Let's see, that's getting there. Let's add a little more of the butter, or the rest of the butter, I should say, and we'll continue to pulse and tell you some fun lemony facts. You might have to push it around a little bit too. Got my scraper. Lemons are actually a hybrid. That means they're a cross, genetic cross between 2 other citrus fruits. The lemons we're going to use today, I would call regular lemons, are actually a cross between something called a citron, which is citrus fruit that's native to India. It has a thicker skin and doesn't have that much juice, and a bitter orange. So that's your regular lemon. If you can find a lemon called a Meyer lemon, I highly recommend those for lemon bars. A Meyer lemon is a regular lemon crossed with a mandarin orange. So they're a little less tart, they have a thinner skin, and they tend to be smaller. When I lived in California, I had a Meyer lemon tree in my backyard. So I had an unlimited supply of lemons, Meyer lemons, and that's what I used to make my lemon bars. And that's where I perfected this recipe. And then it's starting to come together. You could see it. A ponderosa lemon is a large lemon, kind of like this one. And that's a cross between a pomelo, which is the largest citrus fruit, larger than a grapefruit, and a citron. Now, the French word for lemon is actually citron, and the French have a car. This just needs a tiny bit more pulse. The French have a car called a citron, which is very close to the word for lemon. I don't know why they would name a car a lemon. You know that when we call a car a lemon, it means it's a pretty crummy car. All right, that looks good. We're going to take out our dough blade and transfer the crumbs to our prepared 9 by 13 inch pan. And we're going to distribute them evenly and press them down. Have you ever wondered why they call a crummy car a lemon? I looked into this when researching this show, and I found a couple of different theories, but this is one that I thought made sense. When you look at a lemon, it looks great on the outside, but when you bite into it, it has a bitter taste and it leaves you with a pained expression on your face. When you get a crummy car that we call a lemon, it looks great on the lot, but once you get in and drive it, you become aware of all of its flaws and it leaves you with the same expression, same pained expression. So that's why states actually have lemon laws to protect consumers against such vehicles. I did not know that before researching this show. All right, so we're going to make sure we give this a nice press and make sure you get it even and into all the corners. You want those corners to be nice and sturdy. And then this is going to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. Again, you have to know your oven a little bit. At 325 degrees. Move that out of the way. And it'll be a little bit golden. And again, you just want to make sure that you get it in those corners. And if there's little gaps, when it expands as it bakes, it'll fill those in. The main thing is that it's pretty even and uniform, so you don't have one side that's thicker and doesn't bake as quickly. All right. How easy was that? Our crust, it's just 3 ingredients: flour, confectionery sugar, and nice cold butter. All right, so we're going to pop this into our oven for 20 to 25 minutes. You might give it a spin partway through. And now we can get to our filling. So while that bakes, we'll talk about our filling. Before you got here, I cracked 6 large eggs into this bowl, and we're going to mix that with 3 cups of granulated sugar. It sounds like a lot, but again, we have to counter our tart lemon juice. You want to mix this until it is smooth. So it might take a little while. You might still hear a little bit of the graininess of the sugar. So just give it a mix, and we'll talk a little bit more about lemons. How's that? Lemons have ascorbic acid, which you also might know as vitamin C. So that helps boost your immune system. In fact, British naval ships used to carry lemons and oranges to help prevent scurvy, which is due to lack of vitamin C. Lemons also contain magnesium, calcium, and potassium. And the acidic nature and antibacterial properties of lemons make them great cleaning agents. There are so many uses for lemon juice in your kitchen and around your house. And we talked about adding lemon juice to regular milk in the January episode of Baking with Love when we made our chocolate cake. You can add that to regular milk to make a buttermilk substitute. And I know when I was younger, all my friends and I used to put lemon juice in our hair to go out and sit in the sun and get natural highlights. All right, that's starting to sound smooth. Let's give it a break for a sec and talk about our lemon juice, which is the next ingredient. Before you got here also, I squeezed these lemons. We're going to add 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of real lemon juice. Please squeeze your lemons. Don't buy the store lemons. And we're going to add that to our mixture, but I'll talk a little bit about squeezing the lemon. Some people say if you press on a lemon and roll it on the counter before cutting it, it'll be a little juicier. I read that, this is how I did the other lemons. I read that an average lemon gives you about 3 tablespoons of juice. So again, depending on the size and the juiciness of your lemons, you might have to use 4, 5, even 6 lemons for this recipe. And I also read that the average lemon contains about 8 seeds, but these lemons really exceeded that average. I'm telling you, they had a lot of seeds per lemon. Oh, and I read that Christopher Columbus brought seeds to the Americas in 1493. You could see all the seeds right here on our strainer. So that's how we did it, and we got our 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons. We got our little heart tablespoon, and we're going to add that to our sugar and our egg mixture. And that's going to bring all that nice, bright, lemony flavor to our bars. And then, of course, as we always do on Baking with Love, we're going to add a heaping cup of love. You can never have enough of that stuff. And a half cup, I have it in a cup, but it's actually a half a cup of all-purpose flour, which will serve as a little bit of a thickener. Help us make our lemon bars set up. And that's it. Those are our 7 ingredients. All-purpose flour, confectionery sugar, and butter in the crust. Eggs, granulated sugar, lemon juice, and flour and love in the bars. So that's our filling. And again, I still hear a little bit of the sugar, so I'm just giving it an extra good swirl. Oh, I'll talk about some other uses for lemons. You can take a half a lemon, dip it in salt, and use it on wooden cutting boards to help take away flavors of garlic and onion. And it also gets in the little crevices that you make with your knife, so it's good for cleaning that. You can rub lemon on faucets and fixtures to take away lime scale. You can put it in your garbage disposal if you have one, or slices of lemon in your dishwasher cutlery basket to brighten up your silverware. I could go on and on. There's really tons of great uses. All right, so that's our filling. And now we're going to go into our PEG TV time machine and pretend that 20 to 25 minutes has gone by. And we're going to take out our finished crust, which I just happen to have a finished crust already. And we're going to, I'm going to put this down here while it drips. We're going to pour our crust into, pour our filling into our prepared crust. Just like that. Now, sometimes lemon bars get a little foamy layer on top, and don't worry if that happens. It's just the eggs making little air bubbles. Sometimes they do get that, and sometimes they don't, but they'll taste the same no matter what. So I'm just going to scrape every little last drop out of here. And that's our filling. We're going to pop that into a 300-degree oven. So don't forget this step. You need to lower the temperature of your oven by 25 degrees. So I'll take out our crust and lower the temp and pop in our filling, lemon bars. Okay, 300 for about 40 minutes or until the filling is set. So again, you have to know your oven. You might give it a spin at about the 20-minute mark. It'll be golden on top, but if it starts to get too brown, partway through, you can make a little heat shield. Don't bake it covered, but towards the end, I'll just demonstrate. You can just put that on top and prevent it from getting any browner than you would like. You want it to be golden. Okay, so we're going to go again into our PEG TV time machine. I love that you use your imaginations on this show. We're going 40 minutes into the future. Our lemon bars are set. I would bring them out and cool them on a rack until they are perfectly cool, room temperature. And then to make slicing a little easier, I pop them in the fridge. So use your imaginations, 40 minutes on the cooling rack till completely cool. You could cut them at that point, but it might be a little gooey. So make them chilly and bring them out of the fridge. And now it's time to talk about slicing. So with the help of our parchment, first I would take a butter knife and just run it around along the long sides of the pan to try to release in case it's sticky. And then using our parchment, we should be able to lift our chilled bars out of the pan and onto our cutting board. Voila. Now, some people like to put their knife under warm water, like you might do for a cheesecake. I have some damp paper towels handy because in between slices, sometimes your knife gets a little gooey and you might need to wipe it off. And then you just have to decide how big or small you'd like to cut your bars. So again, they are, I'm going to go with small-ish, but the crust might be hard so from the fridge, so you might have to push through. And again, you can just go a couple slices. If your knife starts to get super gooey, you can give it a wipe. I think I'll do that now. And then I'll go the opposite direction. They have a nice tender kind of shortbread crust and kind of a custard consistency. You can see the layers, and I'm going to place them on this nice pretty lemon plate, and then we'll give them the finishing touch, which is dusting with confectionery sugar. So again, you can make them large or small. Also, they keep for about a week in the fridge. So again, make the big batch, and that way you can share it with friends. They keep if you just want to pick on them, but really these don't usually stick around for very long. And like I said, they're easy to make, and you can always find the recipe on the PEG TV website. So I really hope you'll give it a try. Lemon is a great flavor for spring. It's nice and bright. Oh, another thing I read was that the invigorating and energizing smell of lemon has been proven in studies to help uplift mood. So it helps with anxiety and depression. So you might just get to smell some lemon and make you feel better. And again, my knife is getting a little gooey. I could give that a wipe. Oh, that one didn't. There, you have to hear it go through the crust. Okay, and the finishing touch. We're going to take our confectionery sugar. I'm going to wipe my hands. They are a little sticky. And if you do refrigerate them, you might have to reapply the confectionery sugar before you serve them the next time. It just gets absorbed into the bars, but they look pretty like this. There you have it. So next time life gives you lemons, bake lemon bars. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time on Baking with Love.